What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the vlog. We are starting a new project here and we are onto the framing stage already. So you can see times are not normal right now. We all have our masks on. So we're trying to stay safe amid the coronavirus pandemic that's going on. For the time being, we need to keep working. So we're outside, we can keep our distance from each other, but also show you how we're gonna frame this pretty complex deck. We have a lot of details going in. The shape of it isn't necessarily very complex, but once we get in some of these inlay details, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff that had to be planned out beforehand. So stay tuned and don't forget to hit subscribe, hit subscribe, hit subscribe.
Don't forget to hit subscribe.
We now have the ledger board installed here. This is going all the way across to the house. And you can see, staying safe, everybody's got their masks on. This isn't necessarily a super complicated deck to frame as far as the general shape of it goes, but look at these plans. And you can see there's a lot going on here with different blocking all over the place, so it just has to be very strategic with how this is all laid out, and it has to be figured out beforehand or you're gonna run into a lot of problems with a complicated inlay like this. So I know I'm pulling specific measurements off of this side of the door, and I'm gonna show you how we do that so that everything is gonna line up and everything's gonna work out when we start laying our decking. So you can see I have the plans here on my phone. We were printing them out, but we realized that they get wet and they blow around, they get lost. So now everybody's got the plans on their phone. So I figured this out from this point, the very edge of that J channel of the door. That's gonna be my starting point. And I know on this plan, I have to pull out 66 inches. That's where our inlay is gonna start. It's gonna be out in the middle of the deck. But this is where I wanna start my joist layout. These are just gonna fall where they fall. It doesn't really matter too much, but this we need to be dead on. So that is what I'm figuring out right now. We're gonna pull off of this and I'm gonna mark 12 inches on center and then we'll go from there. See, Scooter's putting up the flashing, which we're overlapping at each seam, tucking it underneath this door jamb. And the thing that we did here, because we have a lot of flat blocking going in for this border detail, so I've marked it out 1 foot on center, and it worked out perfectly with the plans I made before. I marked 66 inches off here, 69 inches off that end, then marked 1 foot on center, landed right on our mark over there. So that means that we're on the right track. But because I don't want to have to cut special blocking for this, I just want to use flat 2x10. So I've marked it out 1 foot on center, but what I'm actually going to do is move every other joist over 1 inch so that we can just fit a 9.5 inch 2x10 in there, and we won't have to take a 2x12 and cut it down. The layout's gonna be a little bit skewed here, but all I'm gonna do, this is our first starting point. This is where I've marked the joist, and that's to keep the layout consistent as we go, but I'm actually gonna mark that at 11 inches. So every other joist will have a slightly bigger span than 12, but we're still well under 16 inches, so we'll be fine there. And this is just gonna cut down on some of the labor of ripping down 2x12s to fit inside of a 12-inch on-center joist layout.
Some framing going on. There's gonna be no audio. Say whatever. Little money. No one's gonna hear that.
We are flying through this portion of the deck. Josh and Ant got it started, and now Ant is flying by himself.
It up.
He's got his beautiful mask on. And something important for all you business owners out there, don't be afraid to hire somebody that knows a lot more than you. We are about to start laying out all our joists now that we have everything marked. Our ledger is all marked out with our joist locations. And what we're doing to start here is put this middle joist in. What we did was nailed it up. We already have our mark for where this joist goes. So then we have a straight joist. We use this collapsible square, and we want to make sure that this is 100% square, and then we can mark off of that one. Now that we have all that done, this is gonna fly, and we'll have these up in like a half hour. little bit muddy here, but we gotta get these joists in. Good thing I got my waders on. So you can see with the proper planning, all these joists went up super quick. That's kind of half the battle. Now that we have all of these in, I'm gonna show you how we've planned out for our blocking, because the main feature on this deck is going to be the pretty intricate inlays that are gonna be here. It's all in the little details. So we want the layout to really work out and use full boards wherever we can. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. Putting in our flat blocking here for our border, and what we have is just a flat 2x6 that it's not cooperating going in right now, but I'm gonna show you some little tricks to get this nice and flat. So we want this blocking to be nice and flat because we're gonna have two border pieces and our field boards are gonna meet into this. So this needs to be really nice and flat. You can see in the middle here, we've got this sitting low. So here's a little ant trick. Pop a nail in there. Look at that. Boom. Nice and flat. Sweet little trick there. So Ant brought with him this new tool, which is, I think maybe Pat's favorite tool now. What do you think? It is a metal connector nail gun, and show them how the nail sticks out. So the nail sticks out so you can find the hole. So we're starting to lay our blocking for this pretty complicated inlay. It's gonna go in pretty quick because we've planned it out, but what we did was this is the edge of our inlay over here, and it's going all the way over here. So what we did, we have 16 inches on center over here for our regular boards, and then we switched and we pulled 12-inch on center across this inlay. And then smart little thing that we did was, after we pulled 12s on our ledger board, we actually moved the marks a little bit so that it's really, these are actually 11 inches on center, so that a 2x10 fits nicely in there. And then this is gonna be 13 on center. So we just staggered it, moved our marks a tiny bit so that they're still really close. Our biggest span is 13 inches in this inlay, but everywhere that we need one of these pieces of flat blocking, we didn't have to cut anything custom. It's just a 2x10 full that slips right in there. So we have 2 more of those to go. And then you'll see we have a lot of blocking to go inside here that's going to receive the end of our herringbone pattern. Here is kind of part of the complicated part. What we have going on here is we're putting flat blocking in here, and show them how that's gonna go, how it's gonna lay in there. Boom, just like that. That is gonna receive our herringbone pattern at the end. We have a border coming around here. So how we figured that out was we pulled off the edge right here. This is our mark where our outside border is gonna end. And then we're gonna have 6 field boards, which will lead us to about right here. That's our next mark. And then around the whole inlay is a double border that goes this way. So that's another 9 inches. So this right here, that is where our herringbone, very closely, is gonna be. What we're gonna do is use a 2x6 flat so that we have plenty of space in case any adjustments need to be made. So we're gonna skew it 1.5 inches on this side of our mark where our herringbone should end. So we have plenty of screwing space for the end of those boards. Then we have a lot of tape to go in. Figuring all this out beforehand is gonna make it so that this inlay goes in really smooth. And when you see it finished, you're gonna see why all the planning was necessary. When we're cutting for these pieces of blocking, we want to measure off of here because the center of our joist could be bowed a little bit. So we don't want to measure there. We want, if anything, measure from here, force them in, and then that's going to help straighten out our joists. So that is pretty much it for this installment of the vlog. We have this deck framed out. Our next vlog is gonna be how to build a custom bar and privacy wall. This bar is gonna be pretty dynamite. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Till next time, check out these drone shots, and this is Premier Outdoor Living.